Okay, Shoe0nHead uploaded a brand new video called These People Are Sick. This is talking about the Charlie Kirk situation. I don't know. I mean, like, listen, I don't know. Charlie Kirk is going to be talked about for a while, I imagine. My general thoughts on Charlie Kirk is I didn't think he was a good person, personally, but he didn't deserve to die. And people celebrating his death, that's, should be condemned. That's just the take that I have, you know. I am tired of people virtue signaling about how good of a person he was, because he advocated for a lot of really disgusting things. He said things like slavery was fine, it's okay to stone gay people, or rather, he was, like, quoting, like, a Bible verse in there, but it's still, like, wrong, because, like, the Bible, using the Bible to justify things, like, it's a whole rabbit hole. And we'll talk about it more as we get into this video. And he was obviously very racist. He was very transphobic. He was he was just not a good person. He was very bigoted. I mean, I respect that he's a family man. I respect that he allows people to speak regardless of whoever the person is. I guess we'll just watch the video and see what we have.
On September 10th, Charlie Kirk was giving a talk at Utah Valley University, and out of nowhere, he was shot dead, live, in front of a bunch of college kids, in front of his wife and his 2 children. And I don't think the country is ever going to be the same. Not only because—
yeah, probably not. I mean, it's definitely gonna go down in history. I could definitely, like, foresee Charlie Kirk being in, like, some history books, like, in, like, many decades in time. Like, they'll say Charlie Kirk was, like, an activist or whatever, and that he advocated for things. It just depends how, like, the history books write it, you know? I mean, we've had history books write about people like Thomas Jefferson, who historically is just not a good person, but, you know, people don't recognize that aspect of him, necessarily. They just recognize that, hey, he was one of our presidents, and he's on one of the dollar bills and stuff.
Because of this horrific tragedy, but because of everything that followed. The dark, disturbing realization that we may not be on the same page as our coworkers, classmates, friends, neighbors, doctors, when it comes to the issue of murder. I was crashing out on Twitter a few days ago, just stream of consciousness posting about it, with run-on sentences and everything. 4 days later, I have a clearer head, but I still feel the exact same way. So we are going to talk about what—
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, it's shaken me up too, you know? Like, I was very shaken up by Charlie Kirk's murder, because what happened to him was terrible. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. Like, Charlie Kirk got fucking murdered in cold blood. Again, his rhetoric was very harmful. And I understand if people have apathy towards his death. That I can understand completely. I didn't understand it at first, but after somebody explained it to me, I was like, you know what? No, maybe you're right. Like, I actually, like, kind of understood the perspective a little bit more once I had, like, someone explain it to me. But I still will not subscribe to the idea of celebrating his death. I think that's very antithetical to what leftist values should be, because they're the ones that are supposed to be about gun control, and they're the ones that are supposed to advocate for gun laws, but the moment it happens to someone they don't like, it's completely fine. And so I think that's very antithetical to your own values if people celebrate his death. So yeah, I mean, I was pretty shaken up about it, but I've kind of, like, cooled off from it, and, you know, I feel a little more level-headed about Charlie Kirk. I don't want to talk about him too much on the channel, but I imagine we're probably going to inevitably bring it up again, like, from time to time on the channel, because of how much of a big event it was.
Happened. We're going to talk about the aftermath. And then we're going to get a little personal, because frankly, I don't see the country the same anymore, and I know a lot of you feel the exact same way, so we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get through it. I mean, it's definitely going to be different. It's going to be a huge social and cultural war, but I don't necessarily believe that it's— I don't know if it's gonna— it could go either way, honestly. I could see it going either way.
After we talk about everything else. Charlie Kirk was not a healthcare CEO, he was not a powerful politician, and let me be 100% clear, I'm not saying this to say that it's okay when those people are murdered. My point is that those are positions of power that most people cannot relate to. Like, the average person is just so far removed from that world. But I think what happened to Charlie is hitting differently because, like I said on Twitter, he was just a f***ing guy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he was one of the founders of TPUSA, and he was very influential on a lot of young men. He was a pretty big, like, famous guy who got around. I don't know if I would say he's just a guy. I mean, maybe. If you're comparing him to, like, I don't know, someone like Donald Trump or someone who's, like, got bigger power than him, and then I guess maybe he is just some guy at the end of the day. But, like, I don't know. He's one of the founders of one of the biggest conservative, like, groups ever. And he was definitely, like, obviously he's not the only reason why a lot of young men got radicalized into being conservative, but he was definitely one of the big ones, I would say.
He was a f***ing podcaster. He was a guy who talked about politics. He was a guy who had conservative
I would say it's a little more than that, but I mean, I guess in that context, I kind of agree.
beliefs. Not everyone knows a billionaire CEO or a powerful politician, but they do know somebody with conservative beliefs. They know somebody who holds some or many of Charlie Kirk's opinions. Because despite what people in their little bubble believe, his core ideology and what he believed is the same shit like your conservative boomer uncle on Facebook posts.
I don't know if I can get behind that. That's a little like... I don't know, like, Charlie Kirk spewed a lot of nasty rhetoric. Like, he spewed a lot of transphobic rhetoric. He spewed a lot of rhetoric that's, like, he said things like slavery was fine. He would say things like, if a woman removes consent during the sexual act, then that's, like, a murky gray area, which it's obviously fucking not. Like, once a woman removes consent very clearly, like, she clearly says, hey, no, that's it, like, that's it, consent's removed. Like, no, there's no murky gray area involved with that. But yeah, there's no actual, I don't know, it just seems like Charlie Kirk advocates for some of the worst things ever. Again, I'm not saying he deserved to die, but I don't think he was a good person. You know, and that's just, again, that's just the take that I have.
You can only disagree with this if you are unfamiliar with Charlie Kirk, or you are unfamiliar with the many different branches and different ideologies of the right wing.
Okay. You're probably gonna lose a lot of people on that one, Shoe0nHead, but, I don't know. Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong, Charlie Kirk had many bad takes over the years. Like,
that's heavily downplaying it. Just many bad takes. I don't know. It's just like, I feel like having some harmful rhetoric saying gays should be stoned by, like, and citing the Bible, and also saying that, like, fucking slavery was fine and that, like, black women are lesser than. I don't know. Like, that's a little... That's a little bit, like... It goes a little bit beyond just having a bad take, wouldn't you say?
For example, the two most popular quotes I see people posting are the one where he advocated for stoning gays and black women.
Yeah, I mean, he cited the Bible specifically. I understand what people were saying when it was out of context, but, like, in context, it's not that much better. Like, even when you add the context of him citing a Bible verse, it's not that much better.
Are too stupid to be pilots. But guess what? Both those things, the two most popular quotes people
they're out of context.
Are posting to justify this guy being murdered are out of context.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, okay. Explain how?
But idiots like Stephen King ran with it, then later had to apologize for...
Yeah, okay, like, listen, Stephen King, retweeted saying he advocated the stone gays. I thought the problem with the way Stephen King communicated it was that Stephen King might have implied that he deserved to die because of it. I don't think that's what Stephen King was doing. I don't think that's what he was intending to do. Maybe his message could have came off as that. Again, I don't think that was what Stephen King's intention was. I don't think he was malicious with what he said. And also, he apologized for it, so it's just like, you gotta let it go. Like, I know people are gonna hold this over his head now, and they're gonna always reference this point. But, like, I feel like they just need to let it go. Like, he already apologized for this.
Spreading misinformation about a dead man. These people...
I wouldn't really go as far as to say he was spreading misinformation. He was actually spreading how Charlie Kirk was citing from the Bible, like, people finding it acceptable to stone gays, even though people cite... Listen, I'm just gonna be real with you. If you are a man of God, you cannot say that being gay or being trans is delusional. You have no right. Period. You just don't. And the reason I say that is because how are you going to say that believing in values of a book written by some random fucking guy thousands of years ago is more sane than being attracted to the same sex or feeling like you weren't born in the right body? Like, how do you explain that? Like, don't get me wrong, believing in God, it can be a beautiful thing for some people, and I respect it as long as you don't use it to justify prejudice, but you're trying to sit here and, like, a lot of conservatives try to sit here and say that believing in a book that was written thousands of years ago with a bunch of outdated beliefs and contradictions in it is more sane than being gay or trans. And that, it just makes no sense. Okay, so I just want to cite this thing real quick. Z-King, if you're watching this, shout out to you. Z-King is, he's become a close friend of mine, and also he grew up in, like, a religious setting, so I feel like he has a lot of credibility from, like, his own experience and knowledge on it, so I do trust him heavily when it comes to talking about this stuff. So he did bring up a point, and I decided to screenshot it. I asked him if I could use this in the video. He said he was fine with it. So I'm going to read it, and then I want to talk about it because I think it is an interesting point that he brought up. So Z-King says, wait, there's one more thing I want to say. I think he meant to say her. I think maybe his phone auto-corrected. So I think her saying the Charlie Kirk quote about stoning gays is, quote-unquote, taken out of context is pure lies. In that situation, he is quoting Leviticus, the verse about stoning men who lie with men as they do with women to death, as a counter to Miss Rachel, who was quoting the Bible to denounce bigotry. Charlie was making the point that she was misusing scripture. Okay, you could make an argument for that. However, what all these Charlie chirpers don't mention is that while quoting that Leviticus quote, he calls it God's perfect law on sexual matters and doesn't even condemn stoning gays to death. It's clear he straight up condones it and sees no problem with it according to his faith. So, okay, I mean, it's very... This is what I'm talking about when I say right-wingers constantly cherry-pick points and will run a narrative based on, like, one piece of evidence, and it's just the typical right-wing talking point that I constantly see. So I thought that this was, like, a very interesting point to bring up.
They straw man of you in their minds. They get so fucking mad about it that they celebrate the real you dying. Horrifying. But more important...
Yeah, like, listen, I don't agree with people celebrating his death. I don't think Charlie Kirk deserved to die, but, like, you gotta understand, a lot of what he advocated for was extraordinarily harmful. Doesn't mean he deserves to die. I would have preferred to see Charlie Kirk, like, get canceled, maybe ostracized a little bit. You know, he falls off, people stop caring about him, and then he could still spend time with his family and then just be fine. I don't think he should have died for what he thought. But, yeah.
Even if everything was in context, who cares?
Oh, okay. So, stoning gays and black people are lesser than. It's in context. Who cares? That's a weird thing to say. Okay, like, listen. If you're going to run defense for bigoted beliefs, naturally, I just don't believe you're going to be a good person, like, going into this. I don't know. Like, that's a very weird thing to say. Like, who cares if it was in context that he said these things? That's a very weird thing to say. I don't know. This just seems like... It seems like Shoe0nHead is doing the Asmongold tactic where you just have, like, a very cowardly centrist take and you try to appeal to both sides. That's just kind of like what the tactic is going to be here. I don't think Shoe0nHead is a stupid person. I think she just appeals to a lot of people who are very misguided, personally.
He said this, oh, he said this. I don't care. There are many things he said that I disagree with. There are many things he said that I think are bad. Who cares? It is just a fact that nothing he said warranted his life being taken away.
Okay, well, in context of that, sure, fine. But, like, okay, I was about to say, all right, I guess I paused a little too early. I guess when you frame it like that, that makes it a little better. Like, yeah, I agree, he doesn't deserve to die for that. But it's like you're saying who cares. I don't know, the way you framed it was, you tried to sound a little bit provocative. It almost, some people might interpret that as a bit of a dog whistle saying, who cares if he advocates against gay people or trans people or black people? Who cares if he does those things? That's what it could come across as. I don't know if that's what Shoe0nHead intended for that to come across as, but it definitely could sound like that. I don't know.
This is America. We have freedom of speech here. Unless you criticize a certain country, but for the most part, we have freedom of speech here. So,
oh, I wonder who that could be.
After detaining not just one wrong guy, but two wrong guys, the FBI finally got...
Yeah, and who do you think is at fault for that? The fucking FBI head that Trump appointed, Kash Patel. Like, who do you think is at fault for them not catching this guy sooner? Because Kash Patel was only appointed because Trump had him say a lot of good things, and then they just, like, had Kash Patel appointed. I'm curious to know how the rest of the fucking, like, just normal people that work at the FBI feel about Kash Patel being the director of operations.
The shooter. Only because his own father turned him in. I guess they were just too fucking busy not releasing the Epstein files to catch a political assassin. It was this...
Yeah, interesting. I also think they were too worried about, electing a certain president who's best friends with a fucking pedophile for 15 years. Yeah, I don't know.
Demon Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, another irony-poisoned Reddit shooter who wrote a bunch of memes on the bullets, including, "Hey, fascist catch," and...
Notices, bulges, capital O-W-O.
It's so fucking funny seeing a bunch of, like, boomers try to, like, interpret memes that, like, most people realize.
What's this question mark?
I can hate it here. A lot of people were saying that the shooter was a groiper, which is a far-right fan of the streamer Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, so that's obviously not true, that the shooter... I don't believe that the shooter was a groiper, necessarily. I mean, they said, hey, what's, eat this fascist, which, I don't know. I don't see a lot of groipers calling our current government fascist. I feel like, if anything, they would want, like, an autocracy, so... I don't know. I don't see, someone who calls someone else a fascist... That, on top of that, they had a girlfriend or a roommate that was transgender, so again, anyone saying he's a groiper probably didn't look into the situation, so yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know, like, my take on the killer is that, or the assailant, is that, like, left-leaning, right-leaning, at the end of the day, it doesn't, it's hard to, I don't know if it's productive to say whether they were or weren't left-leaning or right-leaning. Because at the end of the day, they're an extremist, regardless of which side they're on. Right? You know, I mean, like, if a lot of people want to virtue signal about them being a leftist person that is so good with violence, like, I don't know. Like, you conservatives did fucking January 6th. You know, you guys are, like, the pinnacle of violence in America. And I don't know. I personally think violence has been more of an issue with the right. Not saying left-leaning people aren't capable of violence, but it's definitely been more of a problem on the right, I would say. I mean, yeah.
And I have no fucking idea where that came from. I'm gonna be so honest. I have seen no actual proof of this. And it doesn't...
Sure, yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
It makes sense because someone further right than Charlie Kirk wouldn't call Charlie Kirk a fascist, and they wouldn't...
Yeah, no, absolutely, this is true, yeah.
...say he was hateful. Their proof is that the shooter once dressed up like the Slav squat meme from 2012, and they also found a separate meme of Pepe the Frog dressed like the Slav squat meme. Therefore, the shooter is a groiper. That is like seeing a photo of the shooter dressed like a clown, and then seeing this image of Pepe the Frog dressed like a clown, and then being like, groiper confirmed. What is the connection?
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, fine. That's fair enough. Whatever.
The shooter didn't even post the Pepe image. Like, where did the Pepe even come from? Just a bunch of liberal boomers not understanding memes.
Okay. Yeah, like, as if conservative boomers don't fucking... do you think conservative boomers understand memes? You literally showed us a video of some old guy not understanding memes either. Like, how do you know what political party he was in? I don't think conservatives... I think it's more of an old person thing, not really the liberal part being necessary. It could make your video come off as a little bit dishonest, but... Okay, I don't know. Alright.
The other thing I saw was the shooter had Republican parents, and therefore the shooter must be Republican, which is just funny because we all see what these people say about their Republican parents every Thanksgiving. But I guess we'll see. It's September 14th when I am recording this, so...
Yeah, and obviously that's not true. Just because someone is in, like, a Republican household, or just because someone's in a liberal household doesn't necessarily define your political ideology, you know? I mean, you look at fucking Anton Daniels, like, his parents and his family is mostly liberal, but Anton Daniels got super fucking... He went down, like, the fucking red pill pipeline. He's, like, very, politically conservative now.
Maybe more things will come out. Editor Shoe here, more things came out. Definitely not a groiper. At the end of the day, he could have...
Yeah, sure. I agree with that.
...of every single one of my or your opinions. It ultimately doesn't matter. One person may have pulled the trigger, but then we saw the reaction of many.
We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Hey, ooh, ah.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of these people that are celebrating his death, you know, that's a problem. I don't think this third video is a bad... Hold on. When you've been manifesting for it to happen, but it ends up happening to Charlie Kirk. Oh, okay, never mind. I was about to say, like, I'm not saying they deserved it, but God's timing is always right. I don't know. Like, it didn't sound like they were advocating for Charlie Kirk's death necessarily there, but then when I read the caption, I was like, oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, I mean, obviously these people suck celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. It's very disgusting.
Yo, they got Charlie Kirk, bro. I've never been happier.
Never believe the reason I'm smiling. And it has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it's very scary how people are very comfortable with real-life violence these days, considering a lot of these people will advocate against gun violence and then celebrate it when it happens to Charlie Kirk. It's obviously very disgusting. I am pretty angry at left-leaning people as well, or not even left-leaning people, but like far-left people, I should say, because far-left people are a bunch of fucking morons that don't know what they're saying, quite frankly. Normal left-leaning people have actually had pretty normal takes about this. Like, I've actually seen like, normal left-leaning person has always said, like, hey, you know, I don't agree with what he said. I think his rhetoric was harmful, but I don't think he deserved to die. That's, like, a normal left-leaning take to have about this situation.
Nothing to do with.
I would say pour one out for Kirky Boy, but I don't waste good beer on little bitches.
Rest in peace, bozo.
I mean, that one didn't seem as bad. It just seemed like a little bit like, I don't know. It didn't really seem like they were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death there. They were just like, hey, I'd say pour a beer out, but I don't celebrate. It was just more of like I don't know. I don't think they were celebrating their death there. It was more just like, hey, you know, I don't do it for bitches. Like, it was just an insult after their death. It's a little bit, I mean, I guess insensitive. I mean, he wasn't a good person. Maybe you could argue it's poor taste, but I don't think that one was an example of someone celebrating their death.
Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah.
I do not.
Okay. Again, a lot of these are just like, I don't know if like some of these are not even like people celebrating their death. It's just people that like thought he wasn't a good person. So I don't know, if you're trying to show evidence that this is people celebrating his death, like, I don't know, like, you had me in like the first 3 TikToks, maybe even 4, but like everything else just doesn't really, like, I don't know. I guess I'll count how many of these are valid, like, 'cause some of these I don't think are as valid as you're trying to make it out to be, Shoe0nHead.
And I will not ever feel bad when bad people get what the fuck they deserve.
Alright, that person's obviously fucking unhinged.
That someone shot Charlie Kirk? Thoughts and prayers.
Oh no.
Again, that one didn't seem as bad. Huh? Okay. That one didn't seem as bad. I'm very confused about that one.
Someone shot Charlie Kirk. Look, I don't know who needs to hear this today, but that's how you pick up a woman.
Oh, wow, okay. Crazy. Yeah, that woman is fucking stupid, obviously.
Heard someone got shot today. I had a tummy ache this morning. Stay alive out there.
Okay, obviously poor taste, but yeah, okay.
The sympathy for Charlie Kirk is weird. You don't have to like violence, but I'm confused as to how you thought the revolution was going to be magically bloodless.
I've been saying we...
Let me hear that one more time, actually, because I think there is a conversation to have about it.
You don't have to like violence, but I'm confused as to how you thought the revolution was going to be magically bloodless.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, like, violence is going to happen in a lot of political stuff. Like, it's nothing new. Like, political violence has happened throughout history. I mean, you look at Martin Luther King Jr., JFK, like, these date decades back. So political violence is nothing new. However, the uprising of political violence and the acceptance we have of it is getting to be unacceptable. I don't know. This person says you don't have to like violence, which kind of, I don't know. Do you like violence? Do you think it's okay to be violent? I don't know. That's what I'd be curious about, like what your intentionality is with it, because I kind of get the vibe that you seem okay with it, but, okay.
Confused as to how you thought the revolution was going to be magically bloodless.
I've been saying we need to bring back political assassinations. I don't feel bad, and I don't think that everyone deserves the right to free speech. I think some people should be afraid to express their opinion.
Alright, you're obviously fucking stupid. Jesus Christ.
Public.
Holy fuck, some people are stupid. Like, listen, alright, the thing about this Shoe0nHead, you're showing a lot of proof of really crazy fucking far-left people that are okay with this, but I don't think you're showing the takes that normal left-leaning people had about this topic. You know, because I did see a lot of normal left-leaning people actually talk about this topic in, like, a very, like, rational way. You know, saying, hey, I don't think he was a good person. I also am very disappointed in these far fucking left people, because not only do you make the normal left-leaning people look bad, but you also just give more fuel to conservatives to just say, oh my god, look how fucking unhinged and crazy the leftists are. They're all so violent. Even though conservatives have also had a history of violence too.
I didn't like what he said, and I didn't like his opinions, and I don't really give a shit that he's dead.
The best part of this whole goddamn thing is that he is not martyr material, so his death will mean nothing.
Well, that aged poorly.
It will activate no one. It will impact few. It's just great.
There are a lot of people
Yeah, these people are very crazy.
that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Okay, what's your definition of a bad person, then? I mean, like, obviously Charlie Kirk was not a good person. I'm not sitting here saying he was a good person. But the point that I'm trying to make is that, like, what constitutes a bad person? Is the bar going to keep getting set lower and lower and lower to the point where anyone that slightly disagrees with you or has a different idea than you is considered a bad person and then therefore deemed worthy of death? I don't like the precedent that's getting set here. Again, I'm not trying to say Charlie Kirk was a good guy, but I don't think that means he deserved to die. Hey, I was a poet, didn't know it.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
I saw the video before they even put out the confirmation. There was no chance that he made it through that. This wasn't the one we were hoping for, but a welcome surprise nonetheless.
I'm surprised that y'all didn't get rid of him sooner. And I'm surprised that you guys aren't getting rid of more people. Like,
I don't know. Like, Shoe0nHead, I don't think it's productive to scroll through a bunch of TikToks and say that, like, how long does this go on for? Okay, I think it stops after this one. Shoe0nHead, I don't think it's productive to just go through a bunch of TikToks and say, like, you know, oh my god, look how crazy all these, like, far leftists are. And then decide that that's, like, what a majority of leftists feel, or a majority of left-leaning people feel. Right? Because I think I've seen normal left-leaning people give a very rational take on this topic. You know, you're just showing a bunch of far leftists and then saying that's the entire left movement. This is exactly what the conservative talking point does, and Shoe0nHead, to be brutally honest with you, I feel like Shoe0nHead appeals to a lot of conservatives. That doesn't mean she's conservative herself, but she definitely strikes me as a pick-me.
don't stop with him. Don't let him be the end dog. Get rid of them all.
Yeah, obviously this person needs to be investigated.
His wife deserves to go too. Y'all keep on talking about his wife and kids. They need to go too because they're
His wife and his kids. Okay, this woman's crazy, obviously.
carrying on that mentality and that lineage. Like, get rid of the whole family.
People like this should never virtue signal about kids getting shot up in a school if you're going to say that, like, someone else's kid should die, just to be clear. These people don't have a right to say that.
I'm so sorry. Why did you guys stop with him?
There were thousands of videos like that. Some of these people posting with their full names and faces, with hundreds and thousands of likes. Thousands of tweets celebrating it, with 500,000 likes. And it's
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there were a lot of people that were celebrating it, and that's scary. That's very, very scary. But I just don't really like how you're not showing that normal left-leaning people were also, like, just had normal takes about it. Okay? Now, I'm open to the conversation about people feeling apathy for his death, like, not saying he wasn't a good guy and they don't feel anything after he died. Like, that's fine that you don't feel anything. But the problem with some of these TikToks was that they were literally fucking celebrating and dancing that Charlie Kirk died. It's very, very scary.
important to remember that all of those likes are a real person. Millions of people in this country.
No, that's not true. That's a bit disingenuous. You forget that social media, you can bot likes, so I don't know, Shoe0nHead. That might be a little bit, people also have alt accounts as well. Not saying that every single person is going out of their way to alt account, like something, but you gotta remember that, like, botting likes is fairly common, especially on Twitter, and also I wouldn't doubt on TikTok as well, so don't really like that point, but okay.
Apparently believe the acceptable response to speech they don't like is murder. This wasn't just a bunch of fringe blue hair SJWs or whatever. They were teachers, professors, doctors.
These are far leftists, specifically. They're not normal left-leaning people. These are extraordinarily, extremely far leftists that virtue signal about every little thing that, like, does not matter and doesn't appeal to, like, normal people.
HR workers, healthcare workers, nurses, pediatricians, people who work with kids, people's classmates, roommates. They are teachers showing our children the gory, horrifying video of Charlie's murder on repeat. The hippy-dippy...
Okay, so I guess, like, arrest that person. That doesn't necessarily mean every single leftist is guilty of it. Hold on, let me read. Students repeatedly? Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, that's not good. It's an allegation, so obviously innocent until proven guilty. Like, obviously, if it's true, then yeah, like, shut it down. But, like, I don't know. It's like, here's the thing that we need to have a conversation about. A lot of conservatives, or people that want to appeal to conservatives, like Shoe0nHead, will often just, like, do this talking point. Every time they debate, I see this with every single right-leaning person. I don't think I can think of a single right-leaning person that doesn't do this. When they try to push a point, they'll use like one piece of evidence, maybe 2 or 3 pieces of evidence, and try to frame that as this is what the entire movement does. This is what is reflective of the entire movement. What Shoe0nHead is doing here when she shows articles of like a conservative, or like a teacher, sorry, not a conservative teacher, a teacher forcing kids to watch the Charlie Kirk murder over and over and over again, and then showing a bunch of TikTokers like saying that, like, you're showing a bunch of extraordinarily far left people, and you're not accounting that normal left-leaning people don't think like this. The same way that like a normal conservative person, like, I don't know, I guess Arnold Schwarzenegger is a good example. Like, he's not MAGA. In fact, he actually does not like Trump. But he's, like, normally speaking, he's grown up with some more Republican and, like, conservative values, which, that's fine, like, in my opinion. Like, I think, like, hey, that's a difference in opinion. The only problem that we're going to have is if you use that to justify, you know, hatred against marginalized groups, which a lot of extremely far-right people do. And that's just the unfortunate reality, you know. So you're doing exactly what a lot of right-wingers do, like the fucking TFP Student Action and a bunch of other, like TPUSA and like all these like right-wing debaters do. So I don't know. Okay.
In this house we believe shitlib mask was ripped off, and underneath was nothing but psychopathic bloodlust.
Okay, if you say so. Jesus Christ. All leftists are violent. All people who are left-leaning are violent. Got it.
Seen people on the right celebrate the death of people they disagree with. I've seen it. I remember Heather Heyer in 2017. But I also remember...
And also they committed January 6th and didn't seem to care about all the cops that died that day. And Trump was also completely fine with it, and most of the people who are far-right voted for Trump, who doesn't seem to care that much about murder. So, yeah.
For the whole internet, left and right, coming together to disavow and mock the few dozen people from Stormfront who were celebrating her death. This is different. It's never been like this before. It's never been this much. It's never been this brazen.
Sure, that I can agree with. Like, definitely, like, politically, the temperature, extremely high. That I can agree with, sure.
Normal people have to log into like an alternate Twitter account where they can post their more unorthodox opinions, and these people are out here full face, full name, like hell yeah murder. What? The smug unearned confidence these people have to be openly sociopathic with their full name and face because they live under the pathetic delusion of being on the right side of history needs to end. They will blame you.
Sure. Yeah, okay. I could say the same about extraordinarily far-right people too, which are people that you try to appeal to, but yeah, I mean, I do agree. Yeah, sure, I can agree with that, yeah.
For your death, because words are violence. Words are violence, so them killing you is just self-defense. That's why they're using Kyle Rittenhouse as some kind of gotcha. Oh, if you don't condone political violence.
Yeah, that's another thing. I will say, when people use Kyle Rittenhouse as like a virtue signal, it's like really annoying. Like, Kyle Rittenhouse, like, I don't think he acted perfectly, but, like, what he did was obviously self-defense, and the person that he fucking shot was a pedophile anyway, so who gives a fuck? Like, honestly, who cares? It's like people are virtue signaling about Kyle Rittenhouse and gun violence, and it's just like, like, who cares at the end of the day? Like, Kyle Rittenhouse it was obviously, like, a self-defense thing.
Why you support Kyle Rittenhouse. They fundamentally don't see the difference between killing someone over speech and killing someone over self-defense, because these are the same things to them. Also, I'm going to be the one to point it out, because of course I am. I saw nobody else do it. Why are most of them women? Most of the people celebrating are women. Like, it's a good, like...
I guess. Yeah, sure. I've seen a lot of men celebrate it, but a lot of women, I guess. Sure, yeah.
80-20 ratio all over the internet.
I wouldn't go that far. I'd say maybe it's like in my case, from what I've seen on my feed, it's like a 65 to, would it be 35 ratio? 35 to 65 ratio? 35 of it would be men, 65% of it would be women.
What is going on, ladies? Basically, the whole country is shook because last year they realized how many people would celebrate the murder of a president, and this year they realized how many people would celebrate the murder of them. At the end of the day, this is all the inevitable conclusion of the punch a Nazi thing from, like, 2017. Do you guys remember that? We always knew it was a slippery slope. That's why we were against it. And they always say this dumb shit, like,
Who's we?
If you don't want to be called a Nazi, stop being a Nazi. Even a congressman from my state, New York, was like, oh, if you want to stop being—
Oh my god, Shoe0nHead and I live in the same state.
called a fascist, you should stop being a fascist. Yeah, that's great, except you called everyone and their mother a fascist and a Nazi for the past, like, 15 years.
Sure, and these are buzzwords, and I think we do need to move away from the usage of these buzzwords, because fascist and Nazi don't mean anything anymore. But, like, if you look at the actual definition of being a fascist, it's a government that's under authoritarian rule, freedom of speech gets threatened, and what Trump did with Jimmy Kimmel recently, like, again, we're leaning more and more to a fascist society with, like, everything that Trump is doing. Are we going to hear any of this in your video, or are we just going to, like, continue to try to appeal to right-wing cum guzzlers here? Like, what are we doing?
And I see a lot of progressives in my audience like, Shoe, you're not like Charlie Kirk. You're not a fascist. Here are all the things I have been called Nazi, fascist, reactionary for over the last few years. Would you like to see?
Alright, I guess I do.
I have been making this list since 2023. Let's go. Let's just read this together real quick. Mocking/criticizing pop feminism. Believing adults can do whatever they want. Being pro-free speech. Being liberal. Talking to people I disagree with. Being friends with people I disagree with.
Okay, so how do we know that this is not... Like, listen, I get that fascism and Nazism are buzzwords on the internet and people get called these things for all sorts of reasons online. How do we not know this is just your interpretation of what you're getting called a fascist for and not why they're calling you a fascist or a Nazi? Again, I'm not implying that you are. I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's so much context being hidden from this. I don't know. It just feels like it's just your interpretation of it.
Following people on Twitter I disagree with. Supporting Bernie Sanders. That one came from the right. Being registered independent. Criticizing Joe Biden. Criticizing the Democratic Party. Not being attracted to feminine men. Not hating men in general. Criticizing Canada's MAID program. Not taking the COVID vaccine. Criticizing the FBI. Criticizing the CIA. Believing the CIA killed JFK.
Believing the CIA killed JFK. Isn't that, like, a little bit conspiracy jargon? Like, isn't that, like, a little bit, like, okay, I don't know, like, I feel like I would argue that you're, like, more in, like, Alex Jones territory for some of these, but not really much of a fascist or a Nazi. I would say Trump is a fascist. Like, definitionally, like, if you, again, look at the definition of fascism, everything he's been doing up until this point, you know, is leaning more towards an authoritarian government. And, like, again, what he did with Jimmy Kimmel, which is what he did with Stephen Colbert earlier this year by taking them off the platform, is a threat to free speech. In my, like, honestly, like, it is just objectively a threat to freedom of speech.
American flag backdrop for my videos, saying elites, saying working class, saying based, making a joke about Joe Biden eating ice cream, making a joke about Pete Buttigieg being born in a...
I don't know. I feel like some of these are just your interpretation of what a fascist and a Nazi is and not what people are calling you a fascist and a Nazi for, unless you're, like, looking at, like, really, really stupid people. I don't know. Or just, like, random fucking AI on Twitter.
Test tube, making jokes in general.
I just don't know how reliable this list is. That's what I'm getting at.
Cis, being white, being a woman, being a cis white woman, telling someone to take a shower.
That I believe. All women are Nazis and fascists. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Not being anti-gun, not being fat, being monogamous, like...
Oh, so you're not anti-gun. I mean, I would like to hear why you're not anti-gun. I mean, listen, I think anti-gun laws are, like, it's a bit of a tough situation to solve, because you can't just get rid of all guns. Guns are so integrated in America's culture that, like, Andrew Callahan put it best, where it's like, you're gonna see guns at flea markets, Walmart, you know, all these, like, stores and, like, festivals, and, like, guns are just gonna be, like, an all around America, and it's just hard to just, like, take that away. On top of that, even if you could make guns illegal, right? Let's just say it was theoretically possible that guns are banned. That's it, right? They outrule guns. Even if that was possible, that's not going to stop people from using guns. It's the same logic as the Prohibition era back during the 1920s. Alcohol became legal, and the consumption of it actually went up. Because people thought that alcohol being illegal was bullshit. And also, the same thing for abortions. You ban abortions, and that's not gonna stop people from getting abortions.
Liking Huey Long, celebrating the 4th of July, supporting Assange, criticizing the movie Cuties, praising the movie Sound of Freedom.
Criticizing cuties makes you a fascist.
Being against pedophilia, being against the destigmatization of pedophilia, being against children watching porn, being critical of kink at Pride, being against children...
Okay, what does this mean? What does this mean? Are you saying destigmatizing pedophilia and then you add pride, like, right after it? For all I know, that could be different. But the fact that you said that back to back is very... I don't know. It's just like, might be a bit of a dog whistle saying that people in Pride are pedophiles. I don't know. Like, they're in different categories here if we're arguing in good faith, so you could chalk it up to a coincidence, but it just, I don't know. The timing and the ordering, like, the fact that you wrote this all in order means if you're thinking about pedophilia, you would have to think about Pride as the next logical thing to write. Like, you could say, listen, you guys could say I'm far-fetched all you want, but, like, that just seems a little bit strange to me. Definitely very, very weird.
Performing at drag shows, not
I mean, I guess, sure.
being racist, I swear to God, being a class reductionist, saying biological sex, mocking people for debating the ethics of necrophilia, my username.
I feel like a lot of this is just your interpretation of what people called you a fascist for and not like things they actually called you a fascist for. It's just your interpretation of it. We don't know if these are things you actually got called a fascist for being, but all right.
Owning a pet rabbit, questioning the Bush administration's involvement in 9/11, growing up in a Catholic family, eating meat, wanting to get married, wanting to have children, being married, having children, being at January 6th to interview people, saying it's
Oh, wait, you were at January 6th? That's interesting. To interview people, apparently.
okay if someone doesn't want to date a porn star, not wanting to do OnlyFans, criticizing Kanye West.
Bro, okay, never mind. I was gonna make a comment there, but I probably should just keep my mouth shut. Let's just say you'd probably make your audience a little bit happy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Criticizing late-stage capitalism, criticizing the billionaire class, criticizing Israel, criticizing eating the bugs,
Sure, I mean, Israel does deserve criticism. I think Israel has a right to exist, but that's different from saying that, like, what's happening in Gaza is acceptable. That's two different statements. There's a difference between being so pro-Israel to the point where you're okay with a genocide happening versus saying Israel just has a right to exist because the people and the civilians there are bad, but the government and the IDF are terrible in as they currently are.
Criticizing a fashion company for being creepy, you'll remember that one, supporting nuclear energy, parentheses, its toxic masculinity, supporting
What? Okay.
TikTok tradwives, supporting one-income households, supporting UBI, supporting farmers, supporting truckers, not celebrating October 7th, supporting Palestine, not liking brutalism, saying colorblind anti-racism was good, wanting to date someone who has a good relationship with their parents, not liking Indian food, saying men and women are different but complement each other.
Alright, we get it. I think I'm gonna move past these. I don't think any of these are productive. I think we're just gonna move past this.
Bow in my hair, liking VTubers, and now being anti-death.
Charlie Kirk was a fucking Nazi. He was a fucking Nazi. And you know what kind of Nazi is the best Nazi? A dead one.
I am a better person.
Yeah, obviously, like I said earlier, Nazi is a buzzword, and whatever definition of being a Nazi is to these people, the problem is that Nazi just doesn't have a clear definition anymore to a lot of these people. So yeah, I'm willing to hear those arguments. I just don't think Shoe0nHead showing a lot of these was very, I don't know. It's just her interpretation of it. And I don't know if that's actually what she was getting called a fascist for. I don't doubt that she was getting called a fascist disproportionately, but still.
Than you for celebrating the death of a Nazi. And actually, it's pretty weird that you're not, and simultaneously asking people to have empathy for the Nazi.
Nazis have children and families, right? But Nazis also get shot in the neck.
They don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can kill you. Now, I'm going to...
Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it for some people.
Talk about my personal feelings of the situation because I know a lot of you can relate. I know a lot of you have been feeling the exact same way. So I will try and put it into words for you. I have friends who were friends with Charlie Kirk, but I didn't personally know him. We follow each other on Twitter. I've been to the TPUSA Amerifest in 2021. I actually went there planning to make a video making fun of it, but I had so much fun and met so many friends that I'm still friends with to this day. So that video never happened. I disagreed with him all the time. You can literally go to our Twitter interactions. I was always correcting him about, like, Bernie Sanders. I made an egg look like his face. It is safe to say—
I mean, yeah, sure. I wouldn't doubt you had some disagreements. You can call me crazy for this. I think Shoe0nHead is like female Asmongold, except that she actually takes care of herself and she actually has nice teeth. I gotta say, your teeth are super white. So whoever your dentist is, Shoe0nHead, shout out to them. You have a good dentist. I don't think Shoe0nHead's I don't think she's a stupid person. I actually think she's very smart. The problem is that she does the same thing that Asmongold does, where she kind of just goes wherever the money is at politically. And right now, like, the pendulum is on the right, And so, like, you're gonna see her appeal to the right more, and you're also gonna see, that's what you're seeing Asmongold doing. Like, a lot of them kind of appeal towards, like, centrist takes, but then once the pendulum swings back left, I imagine you're gonna start seeing Shoe0nHead as well as Asmongold, like, shift a little bit back towards the left, because that's where the money is at. That's kind of the vibes that I just get from, like, the both of them.
I was no fan, but this has really shaken me in a way that I absolutely did not expect.
Sure, and it's shaken me too. It's shaken a lot of, like, normal people, because this violence is unacceptable, sure.
The last few days after what happened, I kept going to every single, like, lefty, liberal, left-wing person I know and, like, checking out what they have been saying about this. And besides maybe, like, 4 or 5, every single one was being an unhinged psychopath about this. Or saying some backhanded shit like, this is why we need gun control, which, first of all, we were just watching a whole bunch of people celebrate killing someone.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
An unhinged psychopath about this. Or
so, okay, you say they're an unhinged psychopath, and then you proceed to say...
saying some backhanded shit like, this is why we need gun control, which...
That sounds like a normal take? What? Wait, what? You said that they said some unhinged psychopathic shit, which I don't doubt that you found, given a lot of the evidence you've shown earlier in this video, right? But then you follow it up with saying some weird psychopathic shit, like, we need gun control. How is that a psychopathic shit? I mean, I know you're, like, pro-gun, but being anti-gun doesn't make you a psychopath? Like, listen, I wouldn't mind having more laws and restrictions to getting weapons in the United States. I wouldn't mind it. But I also recognize that outright banning guns won't solve anything. You know, I recognize both the pros and the cons of banning guns and not banning guns. You know, I would be down to hear, like, a proper solution from somebody. I'm open to suggestions on what the solution should be. I think it's a very tricky issue to solve because it's, you can't really just solve it by, like, banning all guns. So I do think it's tricky, but, like, to say that people who believe in gun control are psychopaths are, I don't know, that a little bit strange to frame it that way, because it just sounds like somebody who has a different opinion than you do, Shoe0nHead, which is the whole point of this video, is that we shouldn't be advocating for violence on someone who disagrees with you. And granted, I'm not saying that you're advocating for violence here. I'm not implying that at all, but it's like, I feel like you would at least frame them as not psychopathic, no?
Which, first of all, we were just watching a whole bunch of people celebrate killing someone over political differences. You are never taking...
well, it's a little more than political differences. I don't think they should celebrate his death. I disagree with celebrating his death, but the language you're using is just downplaying it a little bit.
Our guns now. That is not happening. I felt like I was in the middle of the ocean. I was trying to, like, grasp onto a flotation device, checking all of these accounts for their take, like, be normal, be normal. Nothing. Nobody. I'm just drowning in a sea of evil, apparently. Maybe I was just blind up until now. Maybe they changed. Maybe I changed. Is everyone going crazy, or am I going crazy? I don't know. All I know is it is clear how they reacted to this is how they would react to me, my family, my friends, you, your family, your friends, that have ever stepped out of line from the nebulous, ever-changing definition of progressive.
That I can understand, actually, from her perspective, because Shoe0nHead, I think, last year in June, she had a daughter, I believe. I think was it a daughter or son? I don't know. She had a child. And so now she's a mother, so I can understand from the perspective, oh wow, oh shit, this is scary. If you slightly step out of line and somebody kills you for it, are they going to celebrate it and be happy that you died, right? And is your child going to grow up without a mother or grow up without a father, whoever the father happens to be of Shoe0nHead, right? Because I know she's married as well. So I'm open to that, like, perspective, absolutely, sure, yeah.
These are people I thought were level-headed. They were left-wing, but, you know, like, they were one of the good ones, like...
yeah, right, sure. You mean, like, normal left-leaning people, not, like, super far leftists that are fucking unhinged and really stupid.
You can joke with them, you know...
This might be a hot take, but I honest to God think Democrats need to stop listening to far leftist idiots, because they clearly have an unrealistic worldview of just, like, everything. And they're not productive to any conversation whatsoever, even though they think they are.
Weren't those, like, woke SJW?
Same for fucking, like, Republicans. They need to stop listening to super, super far-right conservatives that are very radicalized. We need more people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who are, like, normal conservative guys.
Like, they were cool, we can disagree and still be friends. You know. Your friend wouldn't celebrate you being murdered, of course.
They might. Some of my ex-friends might, given my sins of the past, we'll say.
But if they would celebrate an exact clone of you that wasn't you, that had all the same opinions...
Lucky for me, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just evolving, that's all.
Or some of the opinions that you have, if they would celebrate that clone being murdered, they're not your friend. I'm friends with people...
Yeah, I agree with that, sure, yeah.
...who are friends with Charlie, and I see how they are completely broken about this. Seeing them like this, and then at the same time my other friends posting shit like, "Rip Bozo." It's just sick. It's just sick shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's insensitive, definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Personally, I would rather...
I saw a lot of that in my Instagram feed. A lot of people were, like, literally celebrating and saying he died and then have, like, a selfie of them smiling and shit. And it's just very, like... Listen, I understand not liking the guy. I understand saying he was not a good person, because he wasn't. He was not a good person. The rhetoric he advocated for was fucking disgusting. But that doesn't mean he deserves to die. I would have preferred to see him just fall off. I would have preferred to see him, like, ostracized from the rest of the world. I would have preferred for people to stop giving a shit about him, and then he just spends time with his family, and then that's really it. You know, people stop giving a shit about him, and he just falls off, and then, yeah. And also, killing Charlie Kirk doesn't fucking solve anything. Like, there's gonna be another person like Charlie Kirk who has the same beliefs he did, the same rhetoric, the same... And if anything, it's probably going to be much stronger than it was after Charlie Kirk died, because people are going to now be more inclined to side with them, because, oh my god, these leftists are fucking crazy.
Live in a world full of Charlie Kirks who would sit down and debate, than a world full of people who agree with me, but would murder people who don't. Because if it's now normalized to just murder people who disagree with you politically, we don't have a society. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure.
It's over. But some of these people in particular, like...
Listen, not for nothing, but, like, we gotta... Like, I think her heart's in the right place, but I honest to God wish she would just, like, bring up how, like, Charlie Kirk wasn't a good person. Because he wasn't. He advocated for a lot of really disgusting things. Like, he gave rape apologist rhetoric. He was a very racist guy. The stoning the gays thing, like, I already brought up the context for that earlier in this video. It's just obviously a lie, and Charlie Kirk is completely complicit with those ideas, and, you know, he's obviously, like, a man of God, which is not by itself a bad thing, but, like, typically a lot of religious people will justify doing a lot of really gross things. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little bit tired of this, like, virtue signal of, like, oh, Charlie Kirk was a good guy, you know? Like, it's just, let's stop pretending he was a good guy, because he wasn't.
Why the fuck are you celebrating? You! They think you're a fucking Nazi too. They'll make a nice compilation of all the
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
hot takes you've had over the years.
I mean, the left has a massive fucking purity testing problem, yeah.
And spread it around to justify your murder. You don't get it, do you? We are all Charlie Kirk. I have been doing this for 11 years. I have been harassed, doxxed, threatened, whatever, you name it, for 11 years by the left. And it hasn't moved me...
Oh my god. Oh god. You being harassed and doxxed doesn't have anything to do with politics. That just comes with being a content creator. You saying that the left are doing this to you is just a very disingenuous point. Just, like, enough is enough. Stop, alright? Like, you don't have to make every single thing that happens to you about politics, alright? Enough is enough. Like, stop. Alright, you've been on YouTube for, like, 11 years. You've appealed to a lot of left-leaning people as well earlier. You said you had left-leaning friends, you know, like, earlier in this year. So, I don't know. Like, it's very strange.
Because that's not how politics works. That's lunch table politics. I've talked about this before. People on your side being mean to you doesn't mean you overnight change your opinions on, like, healthcare. It doesn't work that way. I still have all
Yeah, it's a gradual thing, yeah.
my economic left opinions. I'm for strong social safety nets, workers' rights, unions, wealth caps, whatever. That has not changed.
Yeah, and you're also, you seem to be, like, pro-Palestinian, which is, I'd say it's a good thing. That's generally seen as, like, a left-leaning viewpoint. Saying that Israel has a right to exist for some reason, apparently that's seen more as, like, a right-leaning talking point. It really shouldn't be seen that way. I don't think saying Israel has a right to exist is a inherently harmful thing to say. It's just, like...
This is not me leaving the left, because, frankly, I don't even know how to do that. This is me and many, many people.
It's definitely... I don't know. This is definitely you leaving the left. This whole video comes across as you, leaving the left. Also, this is a fucking funny picture. I'm absolutely using this for the thumbnail. I will go back through the MP4 file and screenshot this. This is absolutely going in the thumbnail. This is such a funny image.
Looking around us at our so-called allies and realizing that even though we might share some, like, political opinions, We fundamentally do not have the same values or morals. And are we really allies if we agree on, like, taxes, but don't agree on the sanctity of human life? I don't know. The way we view death now is just crazy.
Well, normal left-leaning people didn't advocate to kill Charlie Kirk. You're just viewing a bunch of extreme far leftists. That's really, like, all that is.
And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the desensitization, in part, thanks to the internet. You used to have to go out of your way to see gore and stuff like that, and now you're just scrolling through Twitter, and you see someone set on fire, someone gets stabbed on a train. And when someone like Charlie dies, it's not even real to people anymore. Like, it's like a movie or show. Oh, that character died? Good, I hated that character. Like, no, that was a real human being with a family and kids, actually. Like, that was someone's son. The internet has turned real people into nothing but cartoon characters that disappear when you close an app. I remember for years people would be like, oh, when you have kids, you'll change your mind on XYZ, and I was like, no, that's not gonna happen, no. And they were right. Almost overnight, you stop being so selfish, nihilistic. You stop having utopian fantasies of wanting to live in a post-capitalist society. And all you want is for the world to be safe. For the world to be safe and normal. And all that matters is your family and your community. And then your country, and then the world, you know? But we can't save the world, we can't. But you can save the people.
I feel that, my sister in Christ.
People around you. You can't say to these people who are celebrating this and justifying this, you can't say, what if that was your dad or your brother getting killed for their opinions? Because they've already cut those people off. They've already cut those people off out of their lives. And
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these people. Like, I mean, we heard Dean Withers say he's cut people and family members out of his life for not agreeing with him politically. I mean, listen, I've told this story many times. My fucking uncle was QAnon. He's like super, like, I mean, he has a MAGA hat, but I mean, do I think my uncle deserves to be ostracized from the rest of the family? No. No, in fact, I actually think he's a very smart person. The last time I talked with him, I had a pretty productive political and social conversation with him. I would probably do it again the next time I see him. I'd be open to it again.
Posting videos and pictures of Charlie's wife and young kids will not move these people at all, because they hate their lives, they hate their families. They are atomized bug people. They are the unfortunate product of modern society, and I feel bad for them, I do. I pity them, and I wish I could help them, but I have bugman fatigue. And for the people
yeah, I feel that, my sister in Christ.
People who will come at me in a blind rage with a list of all of Charlie Kirk's, like, biggest hits, to convince me that I should hate him and should not mourn him. If you thought what Charlie Kirk said is wrong, you could have debated him. He was one of the few people left willing to do that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I also, like I said, it was harmful rhetoric. That doesn't mean he deserves to die. Like I said earlier in this video, I think Shoe0nHead's heart is in the right place. I just feel like there's a lot of appealing to the right in this video. There's like little things that I'm noticing that could be interpreted in another direction, even if Shoe0nHead may not be intentionally trying to frame it as such.
And now he's gone. Charlie was a fan of free speech, but I'm worried whoever comes after Charlie won't be. Like, even from a political standpoint, not even a personal human standpoint, why are you celebrating, like, the most popular college Gen Z political pundit dying? Like, why are you celebrating him becoming a martyr? Say goodbye to that young male vote. All the liberal Joe Rogans in the world are not fixing this. I just hope for the sake of this country.
Yeah, I feel like if anything, this is going to cause more people to be right-leaning, to be honest with you. Like, people that were in the middle are going to now see left people as fucking crazy. And so, these far leftists are fucking morons that don't realize the harm that they're causing by doing all this. They're not thinking of the bigger picture in this, and that's why I think leftists or far leftists are fucking morons.
That political violence does not become normalized, does not become a thing.
I mean, it's been a thing for a while. I'm not saying it should be normalized, but it has existed for a while, yeah.
I really don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see
none of us do, or no one normal anyways.
Retaliation. I don't want to see us fall into a civil war. I don't know. This is
we're on the brink of it at this point.
It's all been extremely blackpilling. I think I'm gonna take a break from politics. I don't know. I'm a YouTuber. Like, I'm not a political pundit, right? I'm not. My goal here, my purpose here is to entertain, is to make people laugh. That is what I'm going to do. That is what I will continue to do. The news cycle will move on. The world will move on. Charlie Kirk's kids won't move on.
Yeah, and that is really sad for them. I hope that they find a way to live moving forward. They're never going to recover from it, but I hope they find, like, a meaningful way to live.
his daughter won't move on. His daughter does not have a dad anymore. And that fucking sucks. That sucks. I don't know what else to say. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to my crash out. If you're new here, my videos usually are not like this. They're actually nothing like this. They have music in the back. They're fun. They're goofy. Things are just not fun and goofy right now. But I promise you the next video will be. Yeah, thank you for your attention to this matter. Bye.
Alright. Like I said, I think Shoe0nHead's heart's in the right place, but I feel like she doesn't have to appeal to... I feel like she could have been a little more honest with some of the points that she made in this video. But she was kind of normal about it, so it's not the worst video that I've seen.